small cell lung cancer, again in the relapsed refractory setting, still is an aggressive malignancy. And uniformly, almost all patients relapse. So far, we've had only topotecan as the only FDA-approved agent in the last 2 decades in second-line small cell lung cancer with platinum-sensitive disease. Again, the challenge, as you mentioned, with this drug topotecan is due to its modest clinical benefit. The objective response rate from various clinical trials range from anywhere from 5 to 24%, and the median overall survival from all the studies that we could see from topotecan is 6 to 8 months. And also, in these patients who have a short overall survival, it results in significant hematological toxicity as well. So we needed different drugs in our armamentarium, especially in the second line setting, and especially that are not non-IO. And recently, as we all know, several new agents failed to demonstrate benefit in the second line setting. Again, and in this context, entered lurbinectedin. Again, the lurbinectedin is a selective inhibitor of oncogenic transcription. By inhibiting active transcription in the tumor-associated macrophages, lurbinectedin downregulates IL-6, IL-8, CCL2, and VEGF. Again, as we all know, a small cell lung cancer is a transcription-addicted tumor. And recently, 4 molecular small cell lung cancer subtypes have been defined by differential expression of 4 key transcriptional regulators. Again, the initial lurbinectedin antitumor activity in small cell lung cancer was initially observed in a phase 1-2 study in combination with an anthracycline, doxorubicin. Interestingly, the trial showed an objective response rate of 37% and a duration of response of 5.2 months. Again, as we all know, most recently, this drug, lurbinectedin, was US FDA approved. This approval was based on a multi-cohort basket study. Efficacy was demonstrated in the PharmaMar-led basket study, which is a multi-center, open-label, multi-cohort study enrolling 105 patients with metastatic small cell lung cancer who had disease progression on or after platinum-based chemotherapy. Again, I was one of the co-investigators for this clinical trial in this multi-arm clinical trial that enrolled not only small cell lung cancer patients, but also aggressive tumor types like Ewing sarcoma and germ cell tumors. Again, this specific small cell lung cohort enrolled 105 patients with metastatic small cell lung cancer. Patients received lurbinectedin, 3.2 milligrams per meter squared by intravenous infusion every 21 days until disease progression or unacceptable toxicity. The main outcome measures were confirmed overall response rate as determined by the investigator assessment using RECIST version 1.1 and response duration. Among the 105 patients enrolled, the objective response rate was 35%, with a median response duration of 5.3 months. The objective response rate per independent review committee was 30%, again with a median response duration of 5.1 months. The most common adverse events, more than 20% of the time that we saw in these patients enrolled on the clinical trial were myelosuppression. Again, this is a chemotherapy, and most common side effect was myelosuppression, fatigue, and in some patients had elevated creatinine. Again, we need to be cognizant of the fact that these patients already come on from cisplatin or platinum and etoposide-based therapy, and so they have a borderline renal function, including some liver function abnormalities, increased glucose, nausea, decreased appetite, decreased albumin, and dyspnea. Again, vomiting and cough were also seen together with diarrhea. Again, the recommended phase 2 dose for the FDA label was 3.2 milligrams per meter squared every 21 days. And based on this, it received an accelerated FDA approval. And again, the benefit observed with lurbinectedin compares favorably with that what we historically see with topotecan. Again, as we know, this is a current standard of care in terms of both anti-tumor activity and safety. Again, lurbinectedin is FDA approved, and it was also added on to the NCCN guidelines in June 7th, 2020. Again, Again, let me talk to Dr. Ganti and Dr. Shang on, how do they think that the approval will impact the treatment armamentarium in the setting of a small cell lung cancer. First, let me turn on to Dr. Ganti first. Dr. Ganti.
So, lurbinectedin is the first drug that has been approved in this setting for a long time. And so naturally, we are all excited about it. We finally have some alternative to topotecan. As Dr. Chang mentioned earlier, topotecan was available, but no one really liked it because of the myelosuppression and the toxicity associated with it. And as you mentioned earlier, the outcomes were not great. Response rates ranging from anywhere between 10 and 25%, median overall survival anywhere between 6 and 8 months. And clearly there was a big need to improve upon that. And lurbinectedin seems to have done that, at least in some measure. So as far as my practice is concerned, I will be using more of this drug in this cohort of patients. From the phase 2 trial, the basket trial that you just described, it appears that the side effect profile was very manageable. The myelosuppression was not as significant as has been reported with topotecan. Of course, with the understanding that these two drugs have not been compared head-to-head in a clinical trial, there is an ongoing phase 3 trial comparing the combination of lurbinectedin and doxorubicin with topotecan, and that will give us more details and more a better idea of what the exact benefit of lurbinectedin is. But at least based on this phase 2 data, I would think that this would be a useful addition to our armamentarium in relapsed small cell lung cancer.
Thank you so much. Do you have any other insight into this drug, Dr. Shang?
Yeah, I think this is a great option for our patients. We have the EPIC treatment plan built, and we've been pushing to get this drug into patients, and it's actually available. I just got an email this week. So we're very excited. I think that patients are excited. It's well tolerated. And 35% overall response rate is much, much better than what we've seen with our standard agents. So I think this is a great option.